Hey y'all, welcome back to the PMO channel. This is Isis, and I want to have an expanded conversation because I feel like growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, your perspective is so limited. It's almost like the perspective of a child because the way that we were once taught how to study the Bible was very immature. It was very childlike. You were presented a paragraph, and the paragraph had a question. And the question would lead you to the next paragraph, and that pattern continued over and over again. And it was almost as if you weren't allowed to open your mind to a new perspective. You wasn't allowed to explore the words of the paragraph. In fact, if you were at a Kingdom Hall and a brother veered off from what the objective of the lesson is, the brother at the stage would immediately cut them off because you're not allowed to have an open-minded perspective, right? But I'm going to challenge everyone to really examine the religion. Now, like I said before, I have been reading everything and studying everything because everything is connected. Science, history, mathematics, it's all connected to the higher you. It's all connected to spirituality. We just have to allow our minds to be open enough to see it, right? So we already allowed our minds to be open enough to see that we live in a cult, that we grew up in a cult, most of us, and then some of us allowed ourselves to get sucked into a cult, right? But we were intelligent enough to free ourselves, right? But what happens is when you study new material, you'll realize what the games that the organization plays on your mind to get you to ignore child abuse. For instance, I've said before that I find it so amazing that my family, if they see abuse, like for instance, a family member had a dog, the dog was being abused. I'm telling my aunts and my mother about it, and they're like, oh my gosh, you should call animal control. And they have all this passion for this animal. But when I say, hey, there's child abuse that happens within the Kingdom Hall. In fact, I've been exposed to at least 3 child abusers, okay? And men that have been targeting women that were underage, wait until they turned 18 to be married. I mean, it happens so common. Like, I think about the artist Marcus Houston, like he's getting a lot of slack, but he is now a Jehovah's Witness, but he did target an underage girl so much that they did a whole article about him where it said that, you know, the girl disappeared. They thought she was kidnapped for 2 years, and then she comes back from disappearing for 2 years, and now she's dating Marcus Houston. And Marcus Houston is like in his 30s. But I've personally witnessed that within my congregation, where an older man, he was in his 30s, targeted a younger girl who was 18, and they got married. Yes, they have kids. They seem to be happy, but is that normal? Is that healthy? You know? What does it say about that man looking at that child like that? That's creepy. But yet it's so normal within the Kingdom Hall that they don't comprehend that it's wrong. So when I'm telling those same family members about the child abuse that I'm seeing on the news, and I'm trying to show them the articles, and I'm like, look at this. Isn't this crazy? And they're like, oh, you know, that's apostate material. Apostate? This is the news. Well, you know, everyone's going to be coming after Jehovah's organization. Excuse me? You cannot see what is in front of you. And then I realized is that people see what they want to see. and they hear what they want to hear. But also through a high level occultic organization, they use different techniques to get your mind hypnotized. You know, people can use different frequencies to get into your mind to make you do things that you wouldn't normally do. And then think about all the frequencies, all the music. Think about the music that's constantly played to us. Now, they can do that with recreational music, especially within rap music and the Black culture. They're trying to destroy that. But think about what happens in the Kingdom Hall. I mean, think about the assemblies with the music playing. You have to be seated so you can listen to the music. What is the frequencies of those musics? What is the frequencies of those tones? Because I would love for my mother and my aunt and my uncle to hear me. But I feel like every time they step foot back into that Kingdom Hall, they get re-hypnotized. And I realized I didn't really free my mind from the religion until I stopped listening to the music. I stopped listening to the material. If you go back to like my first video, I said I am not going to do a breakdown of why this watchtower is wrong and why this or that is wrong, because you know why? I'm re-hypnotizing myself into that ideology because they're doing something. You can look at the assembly hall that looks just like an all-seeing eye. You know, the Bible is called the New World Translation. You know, that I remember back like 10 years ago, I would tell like I was when YouTube first started, right? It's probably more than 10 years ago, maybe like 15. Because I remember YouTube started when I graduated high school. Oh my gosh, aging myself, but whatever. So I remember like when the Illuminati stuff first started coming out, I used to research it. And I'd be telling like, this is why I never got parts at the assembly, but I used to tell people in the service group, like, look what I found. And then, you know, people get sensitive and then they want to call it demonic. So I've always just looked at those things privately. But I'm so glad that I did, because I see a lot of the stuff, a lot of the trickery that the media use on us to get us to buy, to get us to purchase, sometimes even to get us to sell our soul, is the same trickery that they do within the Kingdom Hall. It's the exact same thing. Except this perspective, you got people in poverty, right? You got people that are willing to do anything to see a better future. But yet, you got them hypnotized within the system that they can't even see that they are aiding into the abuse of this system. And that message that they're preaching by being within that organization is a contradiction. You cannot say that you're going to make it to a new system of God's chosen people and ignore child abuse. So they are worried about us when we should be worried about them. And we should no longer take the blame. Oh, I'm making my family look bad, or no, we should be like standing up proud. Like, no, you are wrong because you are ignoring the abuse. But the God that I worship, the God in me that I worship, has more morals than that. The God that I worship said, keep seeking. Taste and see, by their fruits, you will know that they're my people. My God is not allowing children to be abused. No. So I believe that our parents are under some type of hypnosis. Our family is under some type of hypnosis, because those people that I know that took care of me. Fortunately, I've never been abused. I know they have amazing hearts. So I don't want to believe that they're bad. But I want to acknowledge how powerful this organization is and how much we as people that survived this organization, how much we can take them down. Because I see how some may be holding back. But until we be completely honest and say everything, the rest of the world is not going to comprehend how deeply brainwashing Jehovah's Witnesses, the organization, the Watchtower Bible Tract Society, how demonic they are, how evil they are. These are some evil people, and we need to start acknowledging that. So that is it for this video. I want you guys to meditate on that. And I will catch y'all guys in the next one.